Today on the channel, we're back with another G.I. Joe Classified Series review. Today we'll be looking at Heavy Duty on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Way I Got It Figured, back with another G.I. Joe Classified Series review. This time we're looking at number 150 in the line, Heavy Duty, aka Lamont Morris. Heavy Duty was a figure from 1991. He was in the 10th series of figures. And, he was definitely a cool figure back in the day. Came with some really cool accessories. And so it's cool to see him getting an update now. Looks like there's some, he's already from the package, he's evoking the classic figure, but there definitely is some updates that I see. And we're going to obviously get into them. Heavy Duty didn't really do all that much in the Real American Hero. I think he was in there, but they didn't do a lot with him. He was at the near end of the book. And I didn't read Devil's Due, so there are people who are gonna say maybe I'm not that big of a GI Joe fan because I didn't read Devil's Due, but I have very specific reasons for that. I don't know what they did with them, no idea. But for today, we're looking at the Classified Series figure, and I'm expecting some pretty great things from it. So as usual, we'll go over the packaging, get them out, pose them around. We'll try and get in a couple of comparisons, I guess, and get you out of here with some final thoughts. So Heavy Duty is the deluxe figure of this range. That range being the Iron Grenadier Bat. No, I think. Well, it's definitely the same range as Leatherneck, Dial Tone. I think it is the Iron Grenadier Bat and Xandar, something like that. Them four. Looks cool. Definitely more modern with his hairdo. Nice picture of Heavy Duty with his weapons. Pretty cool action figure photography on the back, and of course he's got some guest stars. Can't tell who they are. Almost look like Toxo Vipers, but why would one be flying? So I don't know. Guess they're not on an Energon mission because there's no Energon in this one. Pretty cool insets to his equipment. And you've got his file card symbols there. So it looks like he's got 3 ordnance, 4 heavy weapons, 3 artillery, and 3 anti-armor. So he's definitely a fairly skilled Joe for sure. Got your QR code to absolutely nowhere. And we'll get Heavy Duty out. Check him out. Okay, so we're back with Heavy Duty and all of his equipment. Comes with quite a few items. I didn't want to get all of his missiles out, so I kind of left them in this tray here. I'm going to probably mess around and put the missiles on later, but for now, we're going to just go with that. So you've got the rocket launchers here, and you can use them separately. You don't have to put them on the rig, but of course we're going to put the rig together. So yeah. He has all these accessories, extra head, extra hands. He's got his knife, of course. So we've got his weapons rig, and on the back it reads "Man Portable Weapon System." Pretty cool. I like the idea of a integrated weapon system. I mean, it was, obviously it's what he had before. We're gonna put that together here in a bit. And you've got these two miniguns, which go on there, and these headphones, which you can put on him. We'll definitely make sure we do that too. I accidentally left out this headset microphone or radio, so of course there's that too. You've got these two knives, both painted, look cool. Then you've got your rocket launchers, as I said before. You can kind of use them on their own, and I guess you stick the missile blast port to the front. The back holes are a little bit too small, and yeah, you can read the text there. You got this, I guess it's a control unit. We're gonna check these headphones out. Look at that heavy duty here real quick. Looking at his legs, looks like he's using a kind of a combination of legs. He's got maybe Outback's boots, and trying to figure out whose legs these are. But it makes him a taller figure. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good choice. And he's pretty muscular, but with no pins. But he's got alternate text from what he had back in the day. I think it said Joe on his hat back in the day. But it's looking pretty cool. Love the gold chain. I think the gold chain is a nice added touch. But they've done a lot to modernize the figure, and is his head is definitely got a more modern haircut than the one he had back in '91. He just sort of had just kind of a non-fade, non-goatee. He's like modernized. I think that's cool. Comes with, of course, two fists. Let's get them geared up. See what we can see there. All right, so we've got heavy duty geared up in his man portable weapon system, and we have a couple of missiles put in the ports here, and I do think it looks cool. Everything was pretty easy, straightforward to assemble. Wasn't really difficult at all, and yeah, he's every bit of a deluxe figure. And what I like about it is it's a deluxe figure where you're going to really use the stuff. Like, it's kind of like heavy duty's gear. I know I've been critical in the past of uh, certain deluxe figures getting items that you aren't necessarily going to use. Looking at tripwire for sure, but this is how you do it. It's an integrated figure that comes with extra stuff, and that's kind of how I think it should be. So now I think we'll go ahead and do a head swap on him. All right, so here he is with his alternate head sculpt, no hat, and hey, he looks pretty good. I don't think that this is the head I'm going to go with, permanently. I'd rather him look kind of like the classic character, but it's nice. And I do like that G.I. Joe Classified series have been adding more and more alternate heads and hands with the figures. Certainly at a deluxe price point, that's certainly welcome. But I think they've been doing it all across G.I. Joe Classified series. Regular figures have been getting it too. I'm going to put his other head back on, but I'm also going to make sure I can get the target reticle on there. And of course, it's pretty easy to do and it looks good. So now he's like fully geared up with everything looking like he's supposed to look. And I'm very happy with it. I don't even think I was originally going to get heavy duty, but my buddy Phil talked me into it, so here we are. And it's not that heavy duty isn't like a character that I like or anything, but I am starting to hone more in on guys that I like from the years that I like rather than getting every single figure. But I probably would have felt like I was missing out if I didn't get heavy duty here. So there is that. So next, we're going to get heavy duty in here with some comparisons. All right, so we've got some comparisons here for heavy duty. Hawk, because Hawk did have a version in 1991 alongside heavy duty, and Roadblock, because he's supposed to be somewhere along the lines heavy duty's cousin, which is not something that I ever bought into. I hate the idea of it. But he's not his cousin as far as I'm concerned. But they do have similar specialties, even though, Roadblock is still better, in my opinion. Roadblock is the best. But, they look good together. And, he fits right in with G.I. Joe Classified series, as we all know. The other reason to use Roadblock is because he has pretty muscular arms. And then I would have kind of expect the next Roadblock to have these same arms, because his arms look about the same, but they're pinless. So hopefully the next Roadblock we get will have pinless arms. Then I said I would, maybe I wouldn't. But I brought in Retro Card Stalker. I never actually tried to take his hands off because there was no need to, and his hand does come off. And so you can stick these in there, but they don't fit. So it's there, but it's just sitting on there. It doesn't actually fit in the peg. But we did it. And now we know. Stalker's peg is larger than heavy duties. There's our answer on that. Now that we've done that, I think we can move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on G.I. Joe Classified Series number 150, Heavy Duty. Hey, I think he's a great figure. He comes with a lot of stuff. And I have been critical of the deluxe figures in the past of having, a bunch of stuff, but was it a bunch of stuff that, that has any value? Or is it just stuff? Well, obviously, since Heavy Duty has an integrated man portable heavy weapon system, then I'd have to say that this stuff is valuable. It all goes into one thing. And then, of course, you can take the missile launchers off and use them as like just missile launchers if you want to do that. So it does have some playability outside of that. If you want to, just have them shoot a missile launcher, it's all good. But this is what I do think of when I think of a deluxe figure. He's almost like a Centurion in a sense. Is that, yeah, it's deluxe because he needs to come with extra stuff, but it doesn't come with extra stuff just for the sake of coming with extra stuff. And I definitely think they did a great job with it, and they give you extras to enhance the play value. You got the gold chain, you got the hat, you got the non-hat, you got the fists. So you do get a couple of extra things for heavy duty in some other aspects. You don't have to just do it the way I'm doing it here. So yeah, I'm down with that. As far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna give him like a 9 out of 10. Um, you know, he's a pretty good G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. I don't want to give everything 10s. I do tend to hand out a lot of 10s, but I believe in the things that I hand out 10s for. I really do. But as we get into other lines and all, and perhaps being jaded and used to G.I. Joe Classified Series and things like that, it's getting harder to say, hey, everything's a 10, because if everything's good, nothing's good. So, but I do think he's a really solid 9 figure. Honestly, I do. That's my way I got to figure rank, 9 out of 10. And, there's no shame in getting a 9. There's no shame in getting an 8. There's not even a shame in getting a 7. But I do think he's better than a 7. I think he's better than an 8. So there you go. So we've got more G.I. Joe Classified Series coming up in the very short horizon. So be on the lookout for that. We've got Dial Tone coming. We've got the Retro Card Viper coming. We got a couple of things coming from G.I. Joe Classified Series. So I'm going to sign off here. Till next time, everybody stay safe. Happy collecting. See you on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.